All right, welcome back to Sturgeon Creek Genetics. Video number 2 today. This is our main water hub, our tire tank that flows out of the pond that we redid last winter. So we've got a gravity fed line that runs all the way down to here. But what I wanted to show you in this video is we just put in this week the fly rub with the strips. And this is new. Our cattle were not used to this because we do a lot of rotational grazing. Let's see what she does here. We do a lot of rotational grazing, and I had been marking the electric lines with some marking tape. So the cattle were not real excited to go underneath those strips when we first started. And you can see 41 right here. See, she still doesn't like it. So she's still trying to go down and drink out of the ditch, which is not what we want. But flies right now are bad, and I'm sure other people can relate. But it's been basically a learning curve for some of the cattle right here. And if you notice, which we've got it hanging pretty low, they still want to walk over in the corners. But as they become more and more used to it, hopefully they will begin to walk through maybe the middle strips. But I had just gave the cattle some mineral, and anybody that's got cattle knows whenever you give them mineral, they immediately want to go get something to drink. And that right there is our weakest cow we have. You can see she's just kind of thin. She's growing a good calf. We had picked her up this year, but she's by far the weakest phenotype we have. But maybe her being a little bit thinner is what let her run down here first. I don't know. But you can see all the cattle making their way. And a lot of them really weren't interested in the mineral today. So some of them just got one little bite and headed straight down here. But so far, look at that little calf right there trying to get in there and drink. And that's why we put some lime on top of the number 2 loads of gravel so that calves could stick their heads in there and drink. Now, it was a lot of work, and yes, it was an investment, and it was part of our equip projects. But when you redo a pond like that, rip out the dam and start over and run a water line, you know, I'm not paying for city or county water right there. That is water coming straight from the pond, and believe me, it is cold. I felt it just a minute ago. But you can see the cattle walking through the strips. Now, obviously, once again, they're just walking through that one section, but hey, it's better than nothing. And you may wonder, well, what's on them? We soaked that rub and the strips in permethrin. So if you stand close enough, you'll see the flies. They just lift off their backs and they just start circling in the air for those cattle that do a real good job of walking through it. But so far, I mean, all these have came through except for 41. She's being stubborn. And it appears like most of the others are coming through as well. And you can see those strips just run right down their backs. And when it's soaked in permethrin, it really, really helps. It's just a fly repellent. They don't like it. So right there's number 2, the second one today, 51. She didn't want to go through it. Because it's like anything else, there's a learning curve. Not everybody rode their bicycle the first time they tried, so just an example like that. But so far, that's pretty good. And then we can just move that around because that's just hanging on a couple nails, and there's a chain that runs through that, and so we can move it around. Now, ideally, you would love every cow in the herd to get really accustomed to it. So it's just a work in progress. But anyway, if you can do anything to help the flies right now, it's going to benefit you, I promise.